Here is an overview of and installation guide for the Crusader Arms Backland Hunter pistol grip. You can get this online from G4C or Bullseye North for around $140 Canadian. Now first what comes in the box is just the pistol grip stock itself, a bolt and washer set. I had to add my own spacer, I'll get to that later, but you get 2 washers, 1 bolt, a spacer for the inside of the stock, and a rubberized butt plate with 2 screws that attach it. So first things first, let's get the old stock off, and to do that we're going to go ahead and twist off the sling mount here. Then we can remove the butt plate, and inside is where we will have to remove a 7/32 hex bit bolt. So making sure to hold onto the handguard, take your 7/32 hex bit, go ahead and loosen up this stock. Once that's fully loosened, you can go ahead and just pull the whole thing off, and I'll go ahead and move it out of the way for now. Now before we install the pistol grip, there's something very important to note. The threaded bolt that came with mine ended up being too long, and what ended up happening when I screwed it into the recoil tube was that by the time I met resistance, there was still a substantial gap between the stock and lower receiver. If you continue to tighten down the bolt from this point, you're going to drive that threaded follower deeper into the recoil tube. And the reason why that's a bad thing is because inside the recoil tube, you have this pin. Now yours might be loose like mine, it might not be. But either way, what this does is it sits inside the tube like this, and it prevents the bolt carrier group from traveling too deep into the tube, which would cause the carrier to slam into the back of the lower receiver. Now if you thread this in too far or push that follower deeper into the tube, what's going to happen is this pin is going to, instead of sitting where it needs to right there, is going to be higher like that. And what that's going to prevent is it's going to prevent your bolt from locking back as far back as it needs to. Instead, it will only go back about that far. So you need to make sure it's able to go back all the way. And to do that, I ended up using a 1.5 centimeter spacer. That seemed to work for me. The way you can test it is insert the bolt like normal, twist it until you meet resistance. As soon as you hit resistance, stop and see how far of a gap you have there. Then you can measure that gap and get a spacer for that size. Now to reinsert this pin, if you have the loose one like me, make sure the round nose is facing towards the end of the butt stock. Slide that back in there, and let's get started. So the skeletonized bit on this spacer is going to face towards the end of the muzzle, and the bigger opening here is going to be at the top. So we're going to put that in, push it all the way to the bottom. Now we can assemble our bolt and washers. I'll put 1 washer and my 1.5 centimeter spacer. Then I will slide the stock over the tube. Then I'll put the bolt inside my socket. And now we can go ahead and line that up. And screw it in. Make sure you don't cross thread it, and stop as soon as you feel resistance. Okay, there's my resistance right there. I'm gonna try to pull it apart. There's no gap, but there is a little bit of wiggle back and forth. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten that up a little bit more. Now it's nice and snug. No more wiggle, no pulling apart. Now we can put the butt plate on. Butt plate is super simple. Just go ahead, put that on there. The 2 screws will line up with the corresponding holes, but the holes are not tapped, so you will have to tap this yourself by screwing it in. Top screw basically goes straight in. The bottom screw kind of curves up a little bit. I'll get them started just until they get below the top of the rubber there. Then I'll pull the butt stock out so I can see how much further I have to go, and just keep going from there until it's tight. There is going to be quite a bit of resistance because you have to tap this yourself, but try not to go too tight because it is just plastic. As long as you can't pull the butt stock, what is that even called again? As long as you can't pull that apart, you're good to go. And last but not least, go ahead and tighten up your sling stud. I just have a metal swivel stud here because I don't like the plastic one that this comes with. So I'm just going to go ahead, tighten this back up, and we are done. Nice. All right, now that it's fully assembled, see if you can pull and lock back that bolt all the way. If you can, and still have a little bit of wiggle room, then you're good to go. Enjoy your new pistol grip. Happy hunting, happy shooting.